Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rochelle Rosario, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about body positivity and body acceptance. So body positivity is a social movement that supports the acceptance of all bodies, no matter the form, size or appearance, and helping people build confidence and acceptance of their own bodies. Body positivity can range from plus-size figures to skin conditions and disabilities. The hope is that people can develop a healthier and more realistic relationship with their bodies. So, my journey with body positivity started last year. I was diagnosed with PTSD, and since then I've gained 2 stone. PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder, and some of my symptoms were depression, anxiety, insomnia, nightmares, hypervigilance, suicidal thoughts, and I was in a really, really bad way. There would be days and days I couldn't get out of bed, wasn't even able to have a shower, so I had no energy at all for the little things, let alone to exercise. And then when it came to nutrition, that went out the window. When I saw food, all I thought was, what's the easiest thing for me to prepare? And that would be cherry bakewells and chocolate, so not very nutritious. And also at that time, I was vegetarian for over 2 years, and I started eating meat and fish again. And I didn't really care either. I was gradually, putting on the pounds. And where my suicidal thoughts were so intense, I was like, I don't care anyway, because I'm going to die soon anyway. And I was in a really dark place. Eventually, I did manage to get better through EMDR therapy. So slowly my symptoms, they were still present, but they would become less and less intense. And as I started to get more energy, I started to exercise more, and I noticed I would choose more fruit and vegetables. And I actually spent some time in Philippines where my mum and family live. And I used that time to really focus on my healing and my recovery. But I still had battles going on in my head because the year before, I was this newly qualified yoga teacher, fitness instructor. I was sober, vegetarian, ready to take on the world with this whole new health and well-being career. And then all of a sudden, I've got these mental health struggles. I'm overweight. I'm getting out of breath when I exercise. Oh yeah, eating meat and fish again. So it was a huge transition, and my biggest goal was to get back to my old self. I was just like, I just want to feel like myself again. And a part of that was to get my old figure back as well. So I started to exercise more and I was dieting, but I noticed I wasn't losing any weight. If anything, I was gaining, and it was really frustrating, especially working in the fitness industry. I had all this pressure to look good, but pressure that I put on myself, and especially in the industry where it's all about transformations and weight loss results. And here I am gradually putting on the pounds. So I was really frustrated, and I researched into it, and it turns out a lot of people with PTSD were experiencing the same thing. And it turns out I've got very high cortisol levels. So with my hypervigilance, you get high cortisol levels, which are your stress hormones. And with that comes weight gain, as it stores fat and it holds on to fat. So, made a lot of changes towards my life to help lower them, but they're still present, they're still there. And one of the biggest changes I made was my mindset, and just accepting my weight gain and embracing my new curves and new jiggles. And it's still a process. I'm still taking steps now because I've had years and years of diet culture and BMIs and scales and praise for weight loss. And I would have days of, you know, like last year I'd have days of, you know, Rochelle, your mental health comes first. Don't worry about your weight gain. Like, you're in a better space mentally, and that's what matters. And then I'd have other days of like, oh, Rochelle, you're a fitness instructor and a yoga teacher that's overweight, and your clothes don't fit you anymore. Like, sort it out. And one day, I had an epiphany, like my light bulb moment, where I think I was getting changed or something, and my clothes were just so tight and uncomfortable, and I was like, right, I've had enough of this. I'm gonna buy some new clothes. And I went out shopping and I bought new clothes in a bigger size, my new size, and I still kept my skinny clothes, but they're under my bed, in storage drawers under my bed, because it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, because sometimes I'd look in the cupboard and see them and I'd feel disheartened. And then I'd just think, God, you've come so far in your recovery to then start feeling disheartened by a bunch of clothes hanging in a cupboard, by these pieces of material hanging in a cupboard, like, over it, more important things in life. And a big part of my learning about body acceptance came from Instagram and social media. I was very aware of what accounts I was following. Any accounts that were making me feel less than, I would unfollow. Because how can you feel good about yourself if you're constantly comparing yourself? You know, they say comparison is the thief of joy, and I really believe in that, and I can really feel like it can make such a negative impact. And a lot of it started from when I met Jada Cesar at a Sweaty Betty event last year. She was on a panel with other women talking about body positivity and self-love, and I was just in awe of her. Like, she's this gorgeous girl, size 16. She ran a marathon in her underwear to prove that a runner's body can come in any shape or size. She's a mental health advocate. And the more she was talking, I'm realizing the least interesting thing about her is her weight. So I started following her on Instagram, and from that I came across other body positivity accounts and Facebook support groups that included these lovely uplifting affirmations, and then through them started following loads of other curvy girls. And I love seeing their confidence and their happiness and the way that they just embrace their curves and love their curves and just owns it. And it helped me when I was shopping to choose more flattering items as well, because I would see what they would be wearing and I'd be like, okay, that looks good on them, I'll try that style. And yeah, just following these accounts just helped me feel better in general, because it made me realise that my body type is actually very normal, and even if you're skinny, that doesn't mean that you're happy or successful. Like, body image doesn't have anything to do with that, you know, and how many more amazing qualities you can have that has nothing to do with your appearance. Instagram has taught me a lot about angles. For example, here is a picture of me this year, and here is a picture from me last year where I'm 1 stone lighter. So you can see the difference with angles. So when I look at pictures nowadays, I try to take it with a pinch of salt. So all in all, social media has definitely made a positive influence towards my body acceptance. It also helped me to get in that mindset of thinking, I'm not gonna wait until I lose 2 stone to get back to living my life. And I know that there's a stigma against being overweight, you know, that it's unhealthy, And I'm not disagreeing with that. I just think just because you're skinny doesn't mean you're necessarily healthy. Especially in the fitness industry, there's untold amount of eating disorders. So, if you're going into the gym and you see someone's figure and you think, oh my gosh, goals, just remember, like, you don't see what goes on behind closed doors. You don't see the steroids, the bulimia, the anorexia, the constant calorie counting and Weight Watcher points. Like, it can be a lot of stress. I'm not saying that everyone does that, but I mean, everything you see isn't necessarily what you get. And the main reason for your body type, let's not forget, is genetics. So if you're looking at someone for inspiration or you're comparing yourself, it's not realistic because they might not have the same genetics as you. And I love this video by Judy Love where she talks about Nike released it when they released their plus size range.
Got a big up Nike for being much braver than some of these other high street brands. We see you. They've got these new plus size mannequin advertising clothes for us big gal, big ting, really poorly. There's been a lot of negative feedback how Nike is now promoting unhealthy lifestyles. Listen, let me tell you how it is, yeah? Because a lot of you people who are complaining, sometimes we see you going to the gym talking about, oh, you're doing cardio to, keep yourself trim, when really we see you're pushing weights trying to get a little thigh and butty. We know sometimes being a big ting is not necessarily the most healthy, but why shouldn't we be empowered? It's not everybody who is big is unhealthy. Some of us is because of our metabolism. Yes, some of us is because we're just like food. And further, what's that? Who are you to determine what is obese when the national average for many women in this country is a size 16? Let's keep it real. To some cultures, that is skinny. These mannequins are a depiction of reality. Why should bigger people have to go into the gym and squeeze up themselves like sausage? They should be able to have a name brand like Nike representing all different shapes. I want something that sufficiently holds up my big titty, my big butty. All right, the butty's a little bit more flat. For those who are so conscious about promoting physical health, you have no sense or understanding how your negative words impact people's emotional and mental health. Now, as a connoisseur big ting, I would like to tell you, we don't need you to be fat slamming us. Furthermore, what sense do you have to be fat slamming a mannequin? Nah. For all those people that want to put down the big people, the fat people, the obese people, whatever label you like to put on us, we just want to say, gyms and all of you people that don't like the fatness, you better get ready for a stompade of big things coming to your gym soon, because we're learning to love ourselves, and with that, we will make the better choices with what we eat and how we treat our bodies. But most importantly, get healthier. Oh, please. You know, would love to have some of that in your bed, warm you at night.
Also, a thought is just a thought. If you're looking in the mirror and you're thinking, oh, fat and ugly, that's just an opinion. That doesn't make it reality. It doesn't make it true. And there's a well-known saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what might be goals for you might be too skinny for someone else. And the main goal should be to love yourself as you are and be grateful for this body that keeps you alive and allows you to move and dance and go on holidays and spa days and brunches and think about your senses. You're able to listen to your favorite music and see beautiful sunsets and rainbows, little things that we can take for granted. So I try and practice gratitude as much as possible and focus on my positive achievements, especially in recent years. Like, I'm not going to let my weight gain override all the progress I've made in my PTSD recovery. I also like to think about how my friends and family view me. Like, they love and respect me for who I am on the inside, not for who I am on the outside or what I look like on the outside. And trying to change my mindset of, instead of thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I've gained 2 stone, to thinking, thank goodness I'm in a better place mentally and I'm alive and I'm well enough to get out of bed and enjoy another day. As that really sits close to my heart, because last year I was in a really bad way, and there were numerous times where I almost took my own life, and you know, I feel like it's wasted energy constantly looking at what we want instead of embracing and enjoying what we already have. All these Fitbit calculations and calorie counting, you know, I respect your dedication, and if it makes you feel good, then that's amazing. But for me, it can be quite overwhelming. You know, I've had chronic insomnia for over a year. I'm knackered. So the little energy and effort I do have, I want to work out because it's going to boost my endorphins, you know, your body's natural feel-good chemicals. So I want to work out for that feel-good factor. And don't get me wrong, I've got a Fitbit, but I hardly wear it. And when I do, it's because at 10,000 steps, it does this mad vibration and balloons and stuff like that. So if I'm out and about going for a walk and I check and I've seen that I'm at 9,000, I'm like, oh, do you know what? Let me walk another 10 minutes or so until I reach 10,000. So that's good because it motivates me to do that little bit extra. But yeah, being so disciplined and calculated, yeah, it's a bit overwhelming for me, and I just don't find it enjoyable. And the reason why I fell in love with yoga and fitness, you know, so much so that I became an instructor, was because of how it helps me manage my mental health and how much it helped me when I gave up alcohol and drugs. It was never about my physical appearance. And I haven't ever had the urge to study about nutrition. Whenever I've done extra courses, it's always been focused on anatomy and physiology and mental health and addictions and meditation. Like, those are my passions and my interests. And for example, like even when I go to SimFit class, legs, bums and tums, they provide resistant bands, but I don't ever wear it. I know they're provided because they give you the best results. But I'm there to, like, I just want to be there because I love the atmosphere and I just want to move my body and work up a sweat and boost my endorphins. And that's why sometimes, you know, I'm happy after a good workout. Sometimes I'm even buzzing after a good workout. And yeah, so the physical appearances, the upkeep, the unrealistic standards nowadays, sometimes I just think, oh, is it worth it? And Hugh Jackman, who plays Wolverine, he says it really well in this clip.
Never have to be Wolverine again.
That's it. 17 years of being on a diet.
Yeah, you never need to look like... But having said that, like, won't you miss looking like that?
Now, yes. No, like people say to me, how do I get ripped? How do I get like that? And I'm like, man, really? It's too much effort for what it's worth. Like, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of time, a lot of pain, a lot of steamed chicken, and not much fun. Like, life, don't do it. It's not worth it.
No, yeah, it sucks, man.
Yeah, look, you can look 7.5 out of 10 and be so much happier.
And when I was watching this documentary called Embrace, Taryn talks about how when she entered a bikini competition and you see all the women and they are ripped, six-pack, they all look so good. And she said even they weren't happy with the way that they looked, and even they had insecurities. There's another lady called Turia Pitt. She is a severe burn survivor from Australia. She suffered burns to 65% of her body, and she says, it's a waste of energy that people spend all of that time worrying about how they look, as opposed to what they can contribute. I really think it's all in the mind. If you're self-conscious about something, other people will notice it. But if you just own it, people don't care. People are too busy being wrapped up in their own lives to actually care about what you're doing.
So if you look in the mirror...
Yes.
...and you look at your body...
Yes, I like it.
Tell me why.
Well, it's fit, so I've got muscles. My boobs are really nice and perky. Well, that's true, and I've got long legs, and I think that's all pretty nice. So I'm pretty proud of my body. You need to be able to take stock and realise how lucky you are and be grateful for what you have.
Do you feel lucky?
I feel really lucky. I feel incredibly blessed.
Why?
Well, I live in a magical place. I've got a beautiful partner. I've got amazing friends and family. I've got a good job. I get to volunteer, go overseas with Interplast. I'm training for an Ironman next year. Like, I don't know if it really gets much better, but I've created that life for myself, and it could have been very different. I still do get stressed out. Like, it's kind of in my nature to worry, but I try and appreciate life a little bit more. And I do know now that it is so fleeting and it's so fragile. And we don't actually know how much longer we'll be here for.
And I see it all the time, people constantly chasing perfection. And it's like, if you put that same effort and energy into, you know, chasing happiness and practicing self-love, like, oh, it could just make such a difference. Because trust me, there's so many more important things in life than cellulite and stretch marks. And oh gosh, the way that we judge each other as well. You know, at my skinniest, I was 3 stone lighter than I am now. And even then, I still ate chocolate and cheesecake. And I remember during my sobriety for over 3 years, I'd get comments here and there, like whenever I'd eat a dessert or something, it's like, oh yeah, you've swapped your addictions now from wine to chocolate or whatever. And I'm like, no, I haven't. I've always had a sweet tooth. And then don't get me started on the judgments I had when I became a fitness instructor. Oh my goodness. You know, comments constantly, are you sure you should be eating that? Oh, I weren't expecting you to eat that. And it's like, fuck off, Susan. It's a fucking Malteser. And also, as a fitness instructor, over the years, my figure has changed. And it made me realise that my participants come to my class because of my energy and my personality. And they probably prefer me a bit more curvy because it's less intimidating when you go into a class that everyone's got the perfect six-pack figure and da-da-da-da-da. And I noticed it the other week after a class. I was talking to a couple of women, and one of them was talking about how she wanted to lose weight and she was skinny before and da-da-da. And I replied with, you're beautiful whatever size you are, you're worthy whatever size you are. And she was taken aback. I think she wasn't expecting me to say that. And maybe before I would have given her some weight loss tips and advice, but I'm just like, oh gosh, no, there's so much more to you than your appearance and this weight loss thing that we're so hung up on. And when I think about the women that I admire and look up to, it's because of their achievements and their talents and their kindness. Ava DuVernay, I look up to her because of her talent, and she's a director. And I look up to her because of her talent, her passion for justice, the way that she cares about the exonerated 5. And all those qualities has nothing to do with her appearance. Adele, the singer, she's lost loads of weight recently. But I think she looked beautiful with the weight and without. And either way, it doesn't deny her amazing talent, her voice. She's sold millions of records. Again, didn't have anything to do with her appearance. Kathy Burke, oh my gosh, she is fucking hilarious. And again, her talent, don't look at her appearance.
A vajacial? No, I'm assuming it's got something to do with the vagina.
They like steam it and...
Steam your fanny? Fuck off. Jesus.
And there's so much more to these women than their look. So with this body positive movement, I've learned it's okay for your appearance to change. It's okay for your weight to fluctuate. You know, my body is going to change throughout the rest of my life. I might lose weight, I might gain weight, I might redistribute my weight. But what matters most is that I'm thankful for everything that this body allows me to do. I'm learning more about balance and moderation. I know the less restrictions I have, the less likely I am to binge. And this diet culture that's been instilled in us for years and years and years, you know, this is an industry that makes millions off our own insecurities. And, you know, there's still certain things that I need to improve on. I still have habits, like I still weigh myself, and I don't think that's the best habit because you can get caught up in the numbers and then judging yourself and da-da-da. But, you know, it's baby steps, and I'll change that as and when I'm ready. And don't get me wrong, I still have bad days with my body image, but I'm noticing they're not happening as often, and I'm giving less of a fuck, which is also very liberating.
Hey, so I've been working out consistently for the last 5 years, and it may come as a surprise to some of y'all that I'm not working out to have your ideal body type. I'm working out to have my ideal body type. And you know what type that is? None of your fucking business, because I am beautiful, I am strong, I do my job, and I stay on my job. So next time you want to come to somebody and judge them whether they drink kale smoothies or eat McDonald's or work out or not work out, how about you look at your own fucking self and worry about your own goddamn body? Because health is not just determined on what you look like on the outside. Health is also what happens on the inside. And a lot of y'all need to do a fucking cleanse for your insides. Namaste. Have a great day.